Two teams remain in the Summer 18 Rhode Island season, and they're two familiar teams that we've had the past two seasons in the finals. They've had some different names, some name changes. On one side, Boom Shakalaka has been Boom Shakalaka throughout, and they have been playing the same style throughout these past three seasons. Almost a slip-up in the 1-4 game. That would be the Boom Shakalaka game here in the semifinals, but they advance, survive and advance, as I like to say. They definitely did that, and they'll face Lob City, the second seed, but they both had one loss. Both split the regular season series, so they'll have a chance at a rubber match for the title for the Summer 18 season. Welcome to the post-game show for the semifinals. Tyler Barbosa making his debut for this season, but you may know him from past seasons. And these, we have some familiar faces here on the post-game show. Tyler Cruz, I'm Joey Zacco. And guys, semifinals, one game.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. One game, not so much. Maybe would have been the flip of what you would have expected coming into the night, but nonetheless, one exciting game and one not. We'll start with the Boom Shakalaka and Werewolves game. The Werewolves took advantage of Nate Stitchell showing up physically late, and then it took him some time to get his rhythm, and then he did, and he was, as always, one of the catalysts to them coming back.
Well, you could see he kind of started off a little jittery. He was taking shots that he normally doesn't take, missing shots that he normally doesn't miss. But by the end of the night, Stitchell was on fire. There was no slowing him down. He had that almost 4-point play in the corner when he fell into the bleachers. He was just hitting shots you don't usually see people hit.
Yeah, well, you're used to seeing him
Yeah,
hit those,
right.
but like, even for him, like, some of them were crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to credit the Werewolves, too. Like, they came out hot. I remember Jared Ganser hit, like, 3 threes right to start the game. They kept him in it a lot. I thought he played really well, but they just couldn't get buckets down the stretch and cost them.
The Werewolves did everything right other than really close the game out. They had the lead the entire game. Gino almost had 30 points. They started out hot. They just couldn't really control Boom Shakalaka's offense till late in the game. And if you ask Boom Shakalaka, let's say they never doubted it. They were in control the whole time. But they had the facts are they had to come back with a couple minutes left in the game to take the lead.
Mark Belleville stepped up, played really good again.
Yeah.
He's been lighting it up the last couple weeks.
I don't know how many he had.
I think he had like 24. He was like 11 or 15 or something like that. But
It was a high 24. It was a much felt 24. Every time they needed a bucket, he had it. Driving, hitting threes for sure, and he was able to keep him in it until kind of Nate got his rhythm and was able to play off Mark a little bit.
Even when Nate got his rhythm, like you said, he played off Mark. Mark was still not the go-to guy in the offense. Mark was still getting all the clutch buckets that they needed. He really showed up to
They needed that because Lucas Martin was off tonight too.
And no Trevor.
And no D'Amico.
Especially with that.
Well, they'll need everybody clicking next week when they take on Lob City, who took care of the halfway crooks, a short-handed halfway crooks. We've seen kind of two different halfway crooks teams. Well, first, when you have 5 guys against Lob City, it's tough. Ask the Swish Kebabs, right? With 4 guys that 1 week. But when John Sline doesn't show up, who's a big body, can hit some shots, rebounding presence down low, when he's not here, you see one version of the halfway crooks. And then when he is here, you see a different version. Not to mention Jared Hansen was in street clothes tonight. So the combination of Hansen and no John Sline, none of both of them not playing tonight. That was key, in the game for sure.
It really was unfortunate for you guys because there was no Darius. So if you used John Sline, his size would have been awesome. He would have gotten you a ton of rebounds. You saw Carl was kind of in his head a little bit with Chip. But if you had John Sline and Jared tonight, it would have been the perfect game for you guys to kind of take at the Lob City without Darius. And Michael Plum only had like 4 points. Brad wasn't scoring as well as they normally did. Greg and Cody were hot, but with those two guys, it would have been a much different story.
And you guys avoided your typical like halfway crook slow start. Like you guys were up like 9-10 early, hitting some shots.
Well, Mike Wilbur almost by himself erased that slow start potential. And he knew we all knew, including himself, he was going to have to pick up some slack doing the ball handling and hitting some shots without Hansen in the lineup. And he did that early. He did it well throughout the game. It's tough against that team when they have some extra bodies and are able to get out and run. Let's slow him down. That's easy to say here on the post-game show. It's easy to say before the game from the bench, and you get out there, and it's like, well, that's not as easy as it is to say it. And so as we look ahead now, the finals are set for our 3rd season. Boom Shakalaka there all 3 times, so their 3rd straight appearance. And a core group of Lob City has been there all 3 times. Won it the past 2. It took a double overtime last year, if you remember. So it's going to be fun reliving some of those memories and that last possession as Boom had 2 threes to force a triple overtime. So that's how close we were to another period. But what are you guys looking for this year as those teams not only face off in the 3rd straight finals, but for the first time face off for the third time in a season and are really getting familiar with each other.
I think you really need Nate Stitchell to take over early and take over often. And I just want to say that by the time the Boom Shakalaka, Lob City, Alliance, Green Squad saga is over, they should make an E60 about it because these guys go at it. I love watching it.
Like even tonight, like when they were playing, like you could see, like even up 25-30, Cody's sliding around on the floor, like, laying out for balls like that don't even really matter, but like they just want it that bad. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Trevor D'Amico's return next week because he's going to be really big because he's one of their main ball handlers and he's a good distributor. He can't really shoot as well, even though he does shoot from outside from time to time, but he's really good at getting in the lane. If he's not slamming it, he's kicking out to Lucas or Stitchell, so they're going to need him.
They'll need him next week. He played in the first season, was missing last year from Boom Shakalaka when they did go in double overtime. And so having Trevor D'Amico back when they go at it again this season would be huge. Quickly, who's an X factor for the game? So we know some of the usual suspects. We've already touched on them for both teams. But who's like your X factor to watch in the finals? You know, that if they have a big game, it's going to really give a boost to their team.
Victor had 10 points tonight. He's been quiet this season, but we know what he can do. If Victor comes out and takes over the game like he does, I don't think Boom stands a chance with or without Trevor. And as you mentioned, Trevor took last season off. So did Darius. So if they can, they both weren't here tonight. They both took tonight off as well. So if Trevor can be back next week, he is a key piece of size for Boom Shakalaka because other than that, they really don't have any quality size to match up. No offense to the other bigs, but they're just big.
Right.
Well, Lob shoots a lot of threes, so you're going to be able to need a match. I think Matt Kamara's going to have a really big game for Boom because if Lucas Martin or Belleville's not hitting, you're going to need somebody to step up and carry that load. But if all of them are hitting, then we're set for a great finals game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one anyway. I believe in the second meeting that Boom won, they opened it up to about 20, and that was still a game.
Yeah.
So even if some team,
away at it.
right, even if a team does get up by a lot in the second quarter and makes a run, we're going to expect the other team to come back. And so the finals are set. We have that on Tuesday night. That is August 21st. And then the All-Star night will have its own night this season on the next night, Wednesday, the 22nd, here from the Johnson Rec Center. So good job on your, you waited long enough to come on, but good job, good job. And Cruz, good job as always. We'll see you at the finals, a doubleheader next week, the finals and All-Star night. In 2 nights, that should have some good basketball action. So thanks for watching. We'll see you then.